As a nutritionist, I see this all the time. People loading their plates with lots of food, but they're actually missing out on essential nutrients. So let's unpack how this happens, why it matters, and what can be done about it. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Nature's Path to Wellness. Thank you for joining me again here, or if this is your first time, welcome. Today, we're going to be diving into a common but often overlooked paradox in nutrition, and that is being overfed but undernourished. My name is Wendy, and I'm a natural nutrition clinical practitioner. So let's start by defining what I actually mean by overfed and undernourished. Now, you certainly might be eating enough in terms of consuming enough calories, and maybe even sometimes too many calories, let's face it. But we may not be getting enough nutrients that your body actually needs to thrive. And this imbalance is actually incredibly common these days. And it is a major driver behind many health issues that we see today, such as type 2 diabetes, especially. So it could be common for you to sit down and eat a 500 calorie fast food meal, and it is absolutely loaded with refined carbs and unhealthy fats and sugars. And while it probably does fill you up, it isn't going to supply you with the key nutrients that your body needs to thrive, nutrients such as vitamins and minerals. And in contrast, a 500 calorie meal that is loaded with whole grains and balanced with lean proteins and vegetables and maybe fruits, that's going to supply you and your body, of course, with its essential nutrients. It's going to help support your immune function and all of the other bodily functions and keep you away from developing health issues such as type 2 diabetes. And so the question is, why is this health issue so common today? Why are so many people overfed and undernourished? Of course, one of the biggest culprits is the modern diet. And since the 1970s and the 1980s, foods have become highly processed, foods that have become easy to prepare, things that are in boxes and they're loaded with high fructose corn syrup. Ultra processed, calorie dense foods are really what are the main culprits to this terrible situation that we find ourselves in. And these types of foods are absolutely low in the essential nutrients that your body requires. They're, of course, designed to be convenient and are usually much less expensive, unfortunately, than the foods that we should be eating, which is the fruits and the vegetables and the whole grains. And so it is a huge driver as to why people consume these types of foods so much. They're easy to prepare, they save time, and of course, being less expensive. And unfortunately, that's where we've sort of been driven to, especially in these days. They are considered highly palatable. So we often end up craving these types of foods more. And they have a longer shelf life too, right? So if you're loading your fridge with lots of fruits and vegetables and foods that are much more healthy for you, they need to be consumed in a quicker period of time. So often people are loading their pantries and their cupboards with these foods that are in boxes and cans. So often these foods become a staple in most people's diets, and nutrient dense foods like the vegetables and the whole grains and the lean proteins and fruits, they become less common on our plates. And so, unfortunately, this leads to a high calorie intake with a low nutritional benefit. And it just becomes easy to become overfed and undernourished. But why is this so problematic, you might ask? Well, being overfed and undernourished actually can contribute to a huge range of health problems. For example, nutrient deficiencies are linked to low energy, weakened immunity, and poor skin health, as well as even mental health challenges. Chronic conditions like heart disease and type 2 diabetes, and even certain cancers, are more likely to develop when our diets are high in calories and low in nutrient density. Essentially, our bodies are absolutely being starved for the building blocks that they need for optimum health, even when we're technically consuming enough food. So we may be having 500 calories of, let's say, McDonald's or Burger King or Wendy's or any of these other things that people go to. And you can pack in 500 calories really easy when you're consuming a burger and fries and a soda, compared to when you're, loading your body with probably even less than 500 calories and you'd be full of healthy fruits and vegetables and whole grains and healthy proteins. So now that we know the problem, let's talk about what the solution is. And one of the best ways to avoid being overfed and undernourished is, of course, to focus on nutrient dense foods. These foods are packed with vitamins and minerals and other health supportive compounds, but of course, come with fewer empty calories. Vegetables like kale and spinach and bell peppers are incredibly nutrient dense. Lean proteins like legumes can offer amino acids without the added fat, and whole grains such as brown rice and oats provide fiber and minerals while keeping your blood sugar levels in check. So, let me offer you some practical tips to help shift your diet towards being more nutrient dense. So, tip number one, if you can start each meal with protein and fiber rather than, so if you're going to have a well balanced meal, you will have some carbs. But if you can try starting your meal out by having perhaps some vegetables that offer lots of plant fiber, which will slow down the absorption of any glucose that's produced by the carbs that you have in your diet. Tip number two is to aim for variety. Try and include a wide range of colors on your plate. Each color typically represents different nutrients. So when we think of orange foods like carrots, they are high in beta carotene, and greens like spinach are rich in folate and iron. Limit sugary and refined products. They're calorie dense, so they provide lots of calories, but they are definitely nutrient poor. And you want to treat them as just an occasional thing that you have as a treat rather than everyday choices. So, tip number four is to stay hydrated and make water your number one choice when it comes to hydration. It is essential for digestion and for nutrient absorption. And quite often, when we're feeling hungry, you just may be thirsty. So, if it's in between meals and you're feeling a little bit hungry, try having a glass of water and see if that washes away that hunger feeling, or you may actually just be hungry. So, go and choose a nutrient dense meal. And tip number five is consider planning your meals around nutrient dense foods, starting with a base layer of leafy greens. I love to have salads as my main meal, but I will always add different things to it. So I might add some whole grain rice to the meal, or I might add a little bit of whole grain pasta to my salad. And I don't just have a wimpy little bowl of salad. I do have a giant bowl that I enjoy. It's loaded with all kinds of greens, so leafy greens like kale and lettuce, and I'll add some onions. I love red onions, and also some tomatoes and some cucumbers, and that makes up the bulk of my salad or my meal, and that keeps me full in well into the evening and then into the next morning when I wake up for breakfast. So you can also add some different types of lean protein, and I often will add some nuts and seeds to my salad. By choosing nutrient dense foods, you're fueling your body with what it actually needs and not just calorie dense items that are highly processed. You don't want to just think about filling up. You want to think about filling up with nutritionally dense food. Remember, it is about quality and not quantity. You deserve to feel nourished and energized every day. So, if this video has been helpful for you, consider giving it a thumbs up so it will reach more people that perhaps are looking for this type of information and could really use it to better their health. And if you haven't already subscribed to Nature's Path to Wellness, consider subscribing so that I can see you here again. And until next time, stay healthy, stay well, and consume lots of nutritionally dense foods, and be sure to hydrate. I look forward to seeing you here again at Nature's Path to Wellness, where your journey to lifelong health begins. Take care.